Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Social Media Decoded podcast, the number one podcast to help you understand social media better so that you grow your business, get more clients, and monetize. And today I have a special guest. You all know that I get really excited when we have special guests, and I'm going to be talking to Julie today about mindset, marketing, all the things. This is going to be a really good episode. So get your pens, notepads, you already know because gems will be dropped. So, Julie, welcome to the Social Media Decoded podcast. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much for having me. I know we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes, we are because the pre-show, I was like, we just have to start recording because we're getting into the good stuff. So, Julie, can you let the listeners know like more about you and how did you get started with your business? I think your business is very unique. So, let's talk about it.
Yes. So I actually, I'm probably older than a lot of your listeners. I'm turning 49 this year. And when I was leaving college, the entrepreneurship, online entrepreneurship, it did not exist at all. It was you go and you get a job and you work for a company and you hope you rise the ladder of that company and all the things. Entrepreneurs were people that maybe owned a restaurant or a hair salon or the mechanic down the street. There was really not a lot of opportunity when it came to entrepreneurship. We didn't even really use that word, to be honest, in the 90s. And so I did the typical path and I ended up working at IBM. I got my MBA and just kind of rose that ladder at IBM. By the age of 39, I had become a vice president of marketing and sales within one of their divisions. But I have to be really honest. For almost the entire time that I was there was a tug at my heart at all times that you're not doing what you're meant to do. Either you're meant for something more than this. And so I always felt that pull. But you know what? I was making great money. I had my three children during those 18 years. And it almost became, I almost felt guilty wanting something more than that. But I really did. And it finally came down to it. Sometimes you get a little kick in the behind, to kind of make a change, even though it had always been there. And IBM was changing their strategy after 18 years of working for them, almost entirely remote. They were like ahead of their time back in the day. So everyone, recently knows what it's like to now work from home, but we did. I mean, IBM, you pretty much worked from home, and if you didn't, you traveled. And so I was living that laptop life with three kids. I never missed a school play or any of those things. And I was making great money. It was really hard to walk away from that. But they changed their strategy and we needed to go back into an office. And that was going to be a 2-hour commute for me each way. And so it was either do that or leave. And I turned to my husband. And again, I was the primary breadwinner. So it was a really big move. I said, I want to leave. I want to start my own business. And we sold our house. We downsized. We got ourselves to a position where I could really go after my own business. That was back in 2018. And I have never looked back. Has it been super easy? Lord, no. But I knew that I was never going to go back to working for someone else, and that this business became this passion of mine. That the first 18 months, I barely made any money. And at the end of that 18 months, though, the business was making about $400,000 that year. And we just kept moving from there. But it's persistence and keeping that dream of what I was trying to grow, in the forefront of my mind. So yeah, that's a little bit of a backdrop of me and my business. And I have a coaching business. So I do have a fairly unique business where I really marry the mindset and the inner work with the marketing, because I mostly work with coaches and service-based entrepreneurs. And when we're marketing services like coaching, you can't see them. You're really marketing you. And so your mindset is the thing that actually gets in the way. You can't outperform you. Your business can't outperform your marketing, and your marketing cannot outperform you and how you see you and putting yourself out there. And so that's really my niche. I really focus in on helping people with their marketing, but from an inside out perspective, really helping them with their mindset and transforming into being the version of themselves in their marketing where they're trying to go in the results of their business. So I love it. It's so much fun.
I love everything. Love your story, by the way. Marketing at IBM, and this I mean, I don't know. I know I probably look really young, but I am a millennial. I'm an older millennial. I'm turning 37 this year. So, I get it. I'm a mom. So you are in the right place and the people are listening. They are here. The moms, the millennials, the Gen X, they are listening. Okay. And so we can take our skills and passions and turn them into a business. And I love how you said, look, I have to leave this job. It's just something. And it was the same thing with me. I just had this feeling and it just would not leave me alone. And it's just like, while you might love marketing, and I worked an amazing job, got to travel the world and do marketing for a top beauty brand. I went to London, Jamaica, met celebrities, all types of things. But it was like, this is not it. There is something else, and you have to help more people. And so I don't know if you're listening, like, there may be something telling you that, and just go for it, because all the people that I talked to on this podcast have inspiring stories, and they all just went out on faith and said this can work. And I just felt the need to say that.
I agree with you. And I will say, I think that I for 18 years, this is how I like to refer to it as, for 18 years, I was in a self-made prison cell, like literally, but the door was open. It's like I had to change my perspective to walk out the door that's been open the whole time. And it often we feel so trapped. And so I agree, if you're listening and you're feeling that nudge and that pull, there's a reason for that. And I think we need to wait until we have total confidence and or someone tells us it's okay, but that's not going to happen. It's almost, you got to take that leap. And as I always say, the worst thing that can happen is you go back and get another job.
But
That's the
if
worst.
you don't want that, you won't. Like, you make things happen. You'll make things happen. And
You got it.
you talked about mindset, and I want to dive deeper into mindset. And because it's often overlooked when owning a business, it's like mindset is the number one thing. And being a business owner, a full-time business owner since 2019, so for the last few years, whew, because I was a part-time, it was my I always had a side hustle, but now that it's my full-time, mindset is like key. So you mentioned mindset is not a morning routine, meditation, inspiration, or motivation. We have to learn how to create the mindset that's required for our next big goals, and learning what works, how our mindset really, and what it really means. So tell us a bit more about that. And I know you said that you kind of married the marketing and mindset together. So give us a bit of that.
Yeah. And, I'll start it with a quick little story. I said that 18 months, my business wasn't growing where I wanted it to be. It got to the point where my husband and I, I'm very transparent. We were having arguments. It's like, he was like, are you going to go back to get a job because this isn't working? And I heard a word that changed everything. And it was on a podcast. I'm a huge fan of listening to podcasts. And it was that your identity, how your identity is what's holding you back. And kind of another word for mindset in a way. And what hit me was I was trying to grow this business from who I was being in the current moment. And the person that I was in the current moment didn't have a successful business yet. That I actually had to step into the identity of the version of Julie that had a successful business. I had to make decisions like her. I had to think like her. I had to like show up maybe when I wasn't totally not a fake it till you make it, but like actually embodying the version of me that had the results that I wanted. And that's how I went to 400,000 by the end of that year, because I stepped into a different version of myself. And that's when that whole world of mindset really, really hit me, because here's the thing. I was doing the things that they say entrepreneurs should do when you're with your mindset. And that's having the morning routine. Do you know how many podcasts I listened to on the best morning routine? Like, I would search it. I was looking up more. If I could just get the right morning routine, oh, I'm going to have a successful business, right? Or listening to inspiration and the motivation and all of these things. And often thinking that mindset is this thing that you just do at a part of the day. Well, I'm going to do my mindset work, in the morning. But that's not what it is. So when I really started to understand mindset, another great word for it is actually attitude. And your attitude is not just like, are you positive or are you negative? Your attitude is a reflection of very entrenched beliefs, entrenched thoughts and feelings, entrenched ways of being. That doesn't change by just listening to some inspirational stuff. I mean, you've got to actually transform who you're being. That's what changed everything for me. And what's interesting is it is almost something that you're doing in every moment of the day. It's actually getting into that awareness. So before you sit down to post something on social media, I call it self-coaching. You got to self-coach yourself first. I have this formula behind me. If you're listening, you can't see it, but the whole formula is you have to manage your thoughts and feelings ahead of any action that you take, including posting. Because I have people that like, well, I'm posting. I'm like, okay, so when you go to post, what are you thinking? Like, what do you mean? What am I thinking? I'm like, what are you thinking when you do a post? Like, well, I don't know. Is anyone going to like this? Is anyone going to comment? And then how are you feeling? I'm like, oh, well, I'm just like worried. And I'm like, why am I even doing this? Every time I post, nothing even happens anyway. Let me tell you, that energy completely impacts the action of posting. And so you have to be managing your mindset, managing your attitude in the moments of every day. That's when they talk about the inner work and the hard work. That's it. You're like self-coaching yourself in the minutes and moments of the day, not doing just a morning routine. You've got to pull that through very intentionally with everything that you're doing. So we've had mindset wrong because it's been kind of taught that it's this thing on your list to do. And it's actually shifting who you're being and practicing doing that all the time. That's how you get the big shifts in your business.
Wow. So many gems. If you all, I hope you were taking notes. I hope you were taking notes. Julie, you just dropped a bomb on us. And I agree. It is a lot of, oh, if you just do this in the morning, meditate. No, you might have to meditate in the middle of the day to get through the rest of your day. So you do have to pull that all the way through and be mindful the whole day. And like you say, your attitude is everything. How you approach situations, you can't just react. And posting is something like that, right? If you're feeling in the moment and you're like angry and you post something, I always say, okay, is it really worth it to post it? What is this going to do? What's the outcome going to be? Before I even post, I don't even think, oh, no one's going to like this. That's the last thing that I think, because you really do have to work on your social media mindset. Everything is not real. And so I think if you approach it like that, you will do much better, because you really don't know if that other person, whoever you think you're following, their life might not even be real. So just think about you and say, okay, I'm trying to reach people. I'm not trying to think about Jenny. And I'm just saying Jenny as an example. I don't know. I'm not trying to look at Jenny. I'm just trying to post for my particular person, not if it's going to get 17 likes, but I want to reach somebody who needs this service that I have to offer, or who needs, this content or inspiration I'm providing, whatever it is. So just wanted to add that. But that was definitely a masterclass that you gave us here. And we are friends now. I'm loving it all. And I want to talk about the marketing a little bit, because it goes hand in hand. What are some tips and tricks that can help the listeners when they're thinking about, like we're talking about, posting? I know many people do have those fears of, oh, anyone is not going to like it. Only 3 people joined the live, but I've converted off lives from 5 people. So give us some
Yes.
tips.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it at the high level, and then we'll go into some tips. Here's what's so fascinating about mindset. It is inextricably connected to marketing. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if it's services or products or whatever it is that you're selling. First, your business cannot outperform your marketing, and your marketing cannot outperform how you see you and how you're showing up. And so what's interesting about marketing, if you really just boil it down, it's words and energy. That's it. It's putting words out into the world with an energy backing it. And how you're doing in your mindset, where your attitude is, how you see yourself, especially, has a huge impact on the words that you say and the energy that you create. I like to think about really effective, beautiful marketing has kind of like these 3 C's to them. Okay. It's got clarity. So clarity on who it is you're trying to talk to. We're not trying to talk to everybody. Who are you trying to talk to? Who are you trying to reach with what message? Clarity on that. Then it's conviction. People buy belief. They cannot know if your coaching is amazing until they pay you money. They cannot know that your social media marketing management company is amazing until they pay you money. They don't know if your products are amazing until they pay you money. So they're not actually paying you money for the thing that you're selling. They're paying you money because they believe that what you're selling is going to help them. They believe that what you're selling is going to give them some kind of a result. I don't care if it's jeans that you're selling the belief, someone's believing those are going to look good on me, right? Or if it's a coaching, which is harder to sell than jeans, but they're buying the belief that that coaching service is going to help them. It's funny, I'm using conviction right now to talk about this. I'm very passionate about it because I'm super convicted in it. So the whole goal with marketing is you've got clarity on who you're reaching with what message, but you're so convicted in that what your product, your service, you're like behind it and you're behind you. If you've got that, they're going to then believe, because that's really what your marketing and selling is, belief. And then the final C is confidence. And confidence doesn't come first. We don't get confidence by we have to get confident first and then we show up in social media. No, the confidence starts to build from that clarity and conviction. And so we work on that, get really clear on what your message is and who you're talking to, get specific there. AKA, niche. It is important for most people. You could be a Tony Robbins and not have to niche anymore. But especially when you're first starting out, or you're trying to get to to consistent business, you're not going to stand out. Who are you talking to? What's your message? Clarity. Then it's conviction. If you don't believe, no one's believing you. And then the final thing, that starts to build that confidence, and that just continues to grow. And I think that's the key. And so as you can see with that, mindset is throughout that. Conviction is mindset. Confidence is mindset, right? But we all want to go to the do. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? How does Instagram work? What do I need to do? How do I do stories? How do I make a reel? Do. But really, it's this deeper work within you that then, great, now that story is going to be amazing. Oh, now that reel is going to pop when you're showing up. And to your point on, 5 people watching, 12 people watching, every single person is a soul. That something that you said, you did, how you showed up, they were attracted to listening to you. Tons of gratitude. Show up as if there were 150 people watching. The fact that those 12 or those 5, you're right, they could easily buy from you. They stopped scrolling. They stopped what they were doing, and they're there. There are clues in that. There's gifts in that. Don't brush that off like it's not enough.
Another masterclass. Gems were dropped. I'm nodding my head. I know you all see me if you're watching this on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Make sure you head over to my YouTube channel, Michelle Thames, and check out the channel, the Social Media Decoded channel. Did you know there was a Social Media Decoded podcast channel? There is. It's brand new. So make sure you head over and check out the video portion if you want to listen to this, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. But
and if they do that, Michelle, they'll get to see the formula behind me. So you guys should go to that, check that video out, because then you can see I actually had my formula made into a piece of art behind me because we use it in our coaching every day.
I love it. I love it. But another masterclass. I'm just nodding my head to everything because I love the 3 C's. And I think that's right. If you don't believe in it, no one's going to believe in it. And I think it's definitely where a lot of people are stuck. You have to believe so much in your program and know that it works and exude that, like when you're talking. Like that's how you attract people. I feel like I don't do like the marketing tactics and like call people 7 times and like reach out to them so many times. Like maybe if they were interested, yes, I will follow up because you show interest, but like I'm not gonna do it more than 3 times. If you like don't respond or don't sign up, whatever. Because I know that I'm gonna attract the people if we can get on a call together, and then I can tell you about the program, or you're gonna see how passionate I am through this. And if that doesn't like give you or help you with the decision to sign on, then it's not the best thing, right? But I believe in that type of marketing, not like the bro marketing and you're going to get 10,000 followers if you do this. We're really teaching like real strategies and things that you can actually use. So you just said
I just
everything,
say,
and
I just want to say
I'm
amen
just
to that, because
excited.
now I'm nodding my head and you're doing the masterclass, because that drives me bonkers. The very masculine, old marketing tactics that, quite frankly, we're in a shift. We're in a shift. So be ahead of this shift. Heart-based, soul-based marketing, you will attract your exact people, and that's all you need is your people.
And you don't need 10,000.
Nope.
Amen. Amen. So let's talk about books. This is my favorite part of the podcast. Are there any books that have helped you along your journey that you would like to share with our listeners here today? We probably have a variety of books. If you're listening, tag me on Instagram at Michelle L. Thames. Let me know if you have listened or read any of the books that the guests have provided on the Social Media Coded podcast. But Julie, what are some of your favorite books?
Oh my gosh.
You're
I'm
shaking
like,
your head because you're like, it's so many.
I could eat books for my meals. Like I am like obsessed. And I actually had the opportunity to study with Bob Proctor, and he shared something with me that I will take with me forever, and I'd love to share it with the listeners here. Don't just read a book once. Study a book. Like, take it back out, study. We like consume, right? We consume. We take a book, we put on the shelf. Take a book, put on the shelf. Get the next book, right? He was 87 years old when he died, and he would study the same couple of pages of a book for like a month, because he said, until it's in my DNA, I'm not embodying it yet. I just know it in my brain. I'm like, dude, like, he was amazing. So I really take a page from that, and I have so many. And honestly, like, we could even drop my book link for Amazon, because I put them all there. I have so many. There's so many I love, but I'm going to say two that really, they're old school and I absolutely love them. One is called Feeling is the Secret, and it's by Neville Goddard. He wrote a book called The Power of Awareness as well, but I love Feeling is the Secret. It's a very, very thin, small book. Mine is outlined, underlined, highlighted with so many different colors and notes in the section. You could almost substitute the word feeling with frequency, like frequency is the secret. It's so powerful for marketing, because it goes back to what we were saying about mindset, and it's the frequency behind your actions, the energy behind your actions, that are more important than the actions themselves, and it's what gives things power. And so it's all about like that mindset piece. Really, really good. And then another one that is so cliche, but if you study it and you really study it, it is Think and Grow Rich. The first time I read that, I'm like, oh, this is boring. I put it back up on the shelf. Then I started actually studying it. It is absolute gold, and it totally talks all about the marrying of, the mindset into everything that you do. So go study those books. Don't just read them, like, really study them. And if you're open to that, you will get massive insight.
I have it right here. I'm re-listening to Think and Grow Rich. Look, if you're
Powerful.
listening, if you're seeing the on YouTube, I have it here in my Libby, because remember, if you are in the United States, you can use Libby and get library books for free on Audible, or like to read it like a Kindle if you have the Libby app, if you have a library card. So in addition to
Ooh.
Audible, yes, so that's a little hidden gem. So if you have a library card in the United States, I know everyone is listening from all over the world to this podcast, and oh my goodness, I appreciate all of you listeners from all across the world. You all mean so much to me. But yes, the US, you can go to Libby. The app is spelled Libby. And if you have a library card, you enter all of your information and you can get Audible books and also Kindle books inside of the app. So thank you for sharing those.
Amazing tip.
The first book that you shared, I'm gonna get that on Audible. It's 40 minutes, so it'll be a good listen. I'm gonna listen to that on my walk today. So thank you for sharing that. Thank
Yes,
you.
so good.
Yes, Julie, this has been such a great episode. It's like I don't want to end, but it's like so good. Thank you so much for sharing all these mindset gems, all these marketing gems, and your amazing story. But before we head out today, could you let the listeners know where can we find you online? And if you have any special resource that they might want to take a look at, because those three C's, I hope you got that somewhere because that was really good.
Yeah, no, and thank you so much, Michelle, for having me on and for this amazing podcast. I always say podcasts what helped me to be able to leave corporate, start my business, and I am just such a fan. So thank you for having this amazing show. Um, you can find me. So, one, if you love podcasts, come check out my podcast. It's called Ignite Her Mind. This is what we talk about. Like, I talk about this stuff all the time. So, definitely, if you're a podcast listener, check out Ignite Her Mind. And then we have a free community for female entrepreneurs. It's called Ignite Her Society at ignitehersociety.com. You can join us in the conversation in there. And it's kind of like an extension from the podcast. So, that's a great place to start.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to put all of that in the show notes so you can check it out and check out the amazing group as well. I love community, so I know that your community is super amazing. So thank you so much, Julie. And thank you all so much for tuning in. We will talk to you in the next one.